thank you for coming to this panel. Hope you're having a great IMS so far. We're going to be talking today about brands in music, and I know a lot of you have come to IMS before or been to a lot of those conferences, and there's a lot of talk about brands in music and the benefits and the truth behind it. And today what we wanted to do is to inform, give you a lot of insights about how these things really work, how you can benefit from working together, and talk about some great cases. And I'm going to get the panel to introduce themselves so you can see who's going to be talking to you today. So we'll start with you, Tom.
Hello, my name's Tom Elton. I'm the Senior Global Brand Manager for Ballantines, and I head up our music platform.
Great.
Hello, I'm Greg Burnell, and I'm a partner and artist manager at Stackhouse Management. We have a sister company, which is Black Butter Records, which some of you might know. And we manage Rudimental, Gorgon City, Lily Allen, Kidnap Kid, and some other development artists.
Thanks. Alex.
I'm Alex Wilkinson from M&C Saatchi Sport and Entertainment in London, where I look after culture marketing globally for, in particular, working with Tom and Ballantines, but then also lots of Pernod Ricard alcohol brands around the world.
Joey.
Hi, I'm Joey Doney. I work as the Consumer Insights Manager for Dr. Pepper Snapple Group, working and representing today the 7-Up brand and our involvement with electronic music. And for a lot of us, we had no idea on the team, just being brutally honest, what was so exciting about it. So before we even entered into it, we wanted to really understand the connection between music fans and this new genre of music for the US. I recognize it's been around here for a lot longer, but to us, it's very new. And so to do that, I joined the team and started really trying to figure out how do we talk to consumers and how do we talk to fans and find out what they're so passionate about and what draws them to this genre, and is there something that we can connect to as a brand, looking at what excites these fans and how can we kind of integrate with that. I think I've seen a lot of brands when they try to integrate into music, not to throw anyone under the bus, but they'll just put a tent up at a festival and think that they're brand marketing and pass out some product. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to really understand, like Tom referred to, what could our role be and how can we authentically integrate into this scene.
But the most important thing, I guess, is the goal, right? What do you want out of music, Right. We all know it's a cool thing to do, and etc. But obviously, you're part of a brand, you're part of the system. What's the goal in the end? And I'll ask both of you about that. But Joey, if you can, what's the goal in the end of working in music?
The goal, honestly, is relevance, and engaging in culture, being a part of the conversation, and connecting with a different group, a different demographic, which in the U.S. millennials make up about 20% roughly of the population, so it's this huge opportunity, and we saw, this place that we could integrate and connect. Yeah. So really it's becoming a part of the conversation and the lifestyle.
Yeah. And Tom, for you, what's the goal in the end?
I mean, the end goal is always around making people want to buy your product and drink your brand. So to do that, as I said, you've got to give them value, you've got to give them something that they can relate to. So they choose to buy that product or that drink because it speaks to them, it's giving them something, and it represents who they are as a person. I mean, that's fundamentally where we always want to get to.
So Greg, obviously from the artist side, it's a very different story for you. Is you don't necessarily approach the brand, you'll actually get a phone call, right? And somebody will say, hey, we'd love to do something with you. And so do you want to explain a bit that process?
Sure. So generally, brands only have become interested in our artists, post-commercial success, which sounds obvious, but, the value for the brand is in us being on TV or performing in front of large crowds. And when our roster was, just a strictly club roster, we weren't getting any phone calls. And I was actually setting up meetings with brands, trying to get free clothing, and they were seeding product to us. And, I was just trying to sort of keep the artist happy outside of any financial sort of upside. But obviously with the commercial success, they see an opportunity to market via us, and yeah, it's become, you know, a massively important revenue stream for us. I'm just thinking about it. It's probably, with some of our acts, probably the second most important revenue stream after touring. So,
you know, a lot of people think that brand relationships is about a check. You know, it's always the same thing. So let's talk about, you know, and I think, you know, Tom and Joey, you can maybe express that. Is how does it work? How does the deal work? What's the value exchange for you? And what's the best case scenario for you when you do these relationships?
Well, it's all about, I mean, everyone always thinks that when brands partner with artists or, you know, celebrities, you're basically trying to steal or borrow their equity so people can relate to you. But it can work the other way around from an artist to the brand, because, you know, there are some very credible, very cool, very authentic brands out there, and it can work in that way, absolutely. So that's one of the big benefits you can get from working with a brand. Then there's obviously the scale, the exposure, the media expertise, because one thing that we can offer brands, and what we do offer brands, and I could give you 100 examples from the Boiler Room partnership, is that, you know, we spend a lot of time with the very, very smart people understanding how to take the artist's or the partnership's message to the right person at the right time, through the right channel, in the right format, because it's a total minefield out there now. So, you know, there's loads of examples that can benefit an artist.
What was the compelling thing with you all know Boiler Room, right? In the room, hands up if you know Boiler Room. Okay, we don't need to explain what it is. What was compelling with the Boiler Room? Because you could have just done deals with artists, or you know, what was the Boiler Room thinking? What was that? How important it is?
There's two ways we approached it. I mean, Boiler Room have this incredible brand equity with a very loyal audience, and I mean, to put it really simply, they're incredibly cool. So we want people to associate us with Boiler Room. So when they go to the bar, they'll see a bottle of Ballantines, trying to decide their drink, and they might go, I've seen Ballantines, Boiler Room endorsed Ballantines, therefore Ballantines is cool.
I guess the problem with this one word, real, right? This is seems to be the thing that everybody's trying to get to. We want to be real. Doesn't mean that brands are not real, and they need to add that to that level of, that layer on top to become real. Or what's the thinking? Why is there such a need to
because, I mean,
to do that?
Brands don't get the exposure or the cut through that working with an artist or a brand partner will get to. I mean, so on social media for our Boiler Room campaigns, or when we did the campaigns with Black Coffee, we would more or less write the same social post as them. We'd both push it out, same money. Their posts would get 100 times more engagement because people trust their voices and what they're saying. So as a brand, you need to find the right partners to utilize, you know, their biggest asset, which is their image and their voice. Yeah. So that's...
Kids can see it through it now.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking earlier about, it used to be a badging exercise, used to be the exchange of a check, put a logo on something, put it out. You know, the consumers that we're marketing to now have grown up in an age where brands are publishers.
So we were approached by Virgin Atlantic with an idea. It was actually set up via a brand partnerships agency, which has just joined my company called Harmonic. They came to us saying, look, Virgin Atlantic are going to be launching a new aircraft and a new flight path to Atlanta, and they want to launch it with this momentous event. You know, they want to involve a flight. Let's sort of brainstorm it and see if we can, you know, come up with something. So initially, you know, we talked about a ton of different ideas. Ultimately, we came up with a plan to fly from London to Atlanta on the new flight. It's the inaugural flight of the 787, and we would provide the entertainment on the flight, and we would give away 200 tickets to our fans. So we talked about using it to launch Wildlife Festival, and the timing didn't work, so we ended up putting Rudimental and Gorgon City DJing sort of back to back on the flight, and 200 fans and 100 media. So we flew.
How loud was it?
How loud? It was pretty good, yeah. There was like a DJ set up in the first class bar. There were speakers under all of the seats. It was pretty, yeah. It was a proper party. There were, you know, it was kind of engaging on quite a few different levels. One, for the artist, it was a bit of a laugh. Obviously, there was financial upside. There was some great media coverage we were part of a news story as opposed to just being written about in the culture, you know, parts of the papers. And also for the fans, it was just a really exciting experience. And a lot of our problem with brand partnerships in general is that we can feel like it's a bit of a dirty check and we're kind of forcing something on our fans, whereas this felt like something that they genuinely were interested in and talking about, and 200 of them came on the flight and had an amazing weekend. So
yeah, and so on this particular deal, I mean, we are you okay to disclose how it worked? I mean, it's very important to like the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, on the commercial terms, I guess. So there were a set of deliverables, one being the performance, another media commitment, which was like X amount of hours, let's say 6 hours of interview time. We got to vet the media list and set up a sort of panel discussion before the flight left. So there was interviews, the performance, social media commitment, which they probably started at like 8 Facebook posts and we got them down to 4. And, you know, there was a bit of give and take on what we were willing to offer in terms of social media support. And in exchange, there was a financial deal plus some flight miles, and there was
quite a lot. I mean, it was
it was substantial. You know, we're talking plus 100k pounds on the financial, and 150,000 flight miles for Gorgon City and Rudimental to split, which they fly every week internationally, and flight miles are equivalent to cash for us. And it was a great deal.
Joey, in your kind of experience so far, the artist plays a big role, right? Because it rallies everyone and you get access to fans and everything.
Right.
You also have obviously the access to the festivals, but so what's the relationship with the artist in the end? What was that in this particular project as well? What's the relationship?
Well, we look at them as truly being the experts in what they do and understanding and knowing their fans, and so we want them to collaborate, to work with us, but also being very sensitive to the fact that this is a business for them too, and they know what works well for their business. It's been proven because they're so successful, right? So in the case of 7UP, the 2 artists that we're currently working with are Tiesto and Martin Garrix, and similarly to what Alex was just talking about, we want to see how we can add to the fan experience to create things that are new. So the 2 of them just recently teamed up together and created this new song and collaborated for the first time ever, which then gives the fans something that's genuine and really interesting for them. In return, we give the artists a chance to appear on a national TV commercial. Tiesto, Martin Garrix, big names, but truthfully in the U.S., I mean, it's EDM, right? So that's still a very small genre in the U.S. considering, I mean, it's still got a lot of room to grow. And so these guys aren't exactly, household names. If you don't know the music, then you probably haven't heard of the DJs. So now all of a sudden we've given them a stage to be on, the TVs around the country, and they're in everyone's home.
Yeah. If you're successful, you're going to get more budget, bigger budgets. I mean, our budget has increased quite significantly to invest in music since we started our boiler room activation, and from that, off the back of that, we're actually launching our own the stories about the record labels, the authentic stories of the record labels, and that's off the back of the success, and that's something we're doing on our own as our own brand, but it's still cemented in the objective of what's our role and what value are we giving, what's the point of doing this. So
in terms of our longer term plan, I mean, music's obviously not going anywhere, so it's one of the you can just keep on innovating and keep on moving in that space.
Okay. And Greg, just on this point, I mean, it's very obvious that brands are the new investors, in the music business. Yeah. I mean, as the labels are not making as much money and have problems of their own, this is an amazing opportunity for having people, around this room that truly want to understand, truly want to get in. It's not just, as you said, the check. So what does it look for you as a business? I mean,
we do sometimes joke about the fact that, our records will be funded by Puma and we'll distribute direct to fans or direct via, X number of online retailers, and the major label position becomes less and less clear. Fantastic marketing companies in a lot of cases, but But yeah, you know, a lot, as I said, you know, we're probably doing, as a company with 3 main acts, 3 acts worthy of these level of deals, we're probably doing, you know, 15 to 20 brand partnership deals a year. So yeah, the future is, you know, and that's, you know.
Can I ask you from a business standpoint, how much of the revenue does that correlate to?
To the artist?
Yeah. Or to you as a business?
Well, yeah, I guess so. So to the artists, I'd say it probably makes up around 20% of their, 20 to 30% of their annual income, and you know, we're based on 20% net commission, so our company falls in line. Yeah.
It's equal to that. So that's quite good, and that's growing, right? So,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So we can say that, you know, potentially the brands can become, you know, sort of the new industry in some way, or a big part of the new industry.
Yeah, and I think there are brands doing incredibly creative things, building platforms. Red Bull, you know, have done an amazing job of building a platform which is, you know, it's an energy drink, but, you know, globally respected as a platform for dance music and creativity, and we've done TV shows with them that have been on, you know, major TV networks in the UK, and the exposure they can offer and the platform they've built is really invaluable. Yeah.
I guess the moral of the story and what we've been discussing today is you know, working with a brand as an artist is actually a real partnership, in the same way that you have a partnership with your label, with your publisher, with, you know, it has to be part of your ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I mean, as I was going to say, we've done a couple bits of research recently, really insightful. So one of them was around the Black Coffee campaign, and then the other one we did via Boiler Room's voice to their fans. And we fundamentally asked them what they thought about the partnership and what they thought about the content, did they enjoy it, and how do they feel about the brand and also Black Coffee or Boiler Room as a result of this. And the results were just that fans don't care if a brand's involved. It doesn't make it less credible or less cool if a brand's involved, as long as the partnership makes sense. Because they'll see through if it doesn't make sense. But if it makes sense, then they're not scared. You know, they're just not scared of brands.
Okay, well, we're going to close this panel. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks to all the panelists.